Joining us now, member of the Mississippi House of Representatives, currently serving as the minority leader, Representative Robert Johnson. Thanks so much for joining us today, Representative.
Thank you for having me. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We got you. Thank you,
Good.
sir. So,
Good.
well, you guys have gavelled in. You got a lot of business on the plate that you're working on. Just had Senator Scott Delano in the studio talking about his priorities. Representative Becky Curry yesterday, the speaker earlier in the week. What are the priorities from you, sir, and from your party as the session unfolds here?
Well, thanks, Gerard. First off, this is a year we do redistricting, and this morning the House took up congressional redistricting, and we ended up passing the House plan that just about all, with the exception of one or two, Democrats voted against. We were in favor of a more compact district that would have included more of Hinds County and parts of southern Madison County. The second district lost 67,000 people. So we thought the most efficient and compact way to achieve that balance in the four districts would have been to do that. That bill passed. Our amendment failed. That bill passed. But we are conducting work and we're doing it without yelling at each other. So that's a good thing.
Yes, sir. So lots of, I think, high-profile issues that the legislature will be taking up, as we discussed with other members of the legislature. A couple of those I don't think really ever ended in terms of deliberations and analysis, medical marijuana being one of those, and tax reform as well. Where do you think we're going from here on that? Medical marijuana in particular, start with that one, if you will.
I've been seeing news reports that say that the legislature is getting soft on the issue, that maybe we won't move forward. I just don't feel that atmosphere at the legislature. I think the people at the legislature respect the voters' wishes. They wanted us to pass medical marijuana. I think we have bills in the House and the Senate that I think are good bills, and I think it'll pass. I'll just hope we make short work of it and get it done. I mean, it's an issue that I think that we spend enough time on. And the tax reform issue, I'm continuing to talk and work with the Speaker on that issue. He's sincere about his effort to try to do something about income tax reform, state income tax reform, and he's continuing to work on his legislation. I supported it the first time with the understanding that it needed some work. He's continuing to work on it. I'll continue to be open-minded about it. As a member of the minority caucus in the House, we can fight. There's plenty of us. That's an alarm telling me to make sure I don't miss your show. As we continue to talk and make sure that we work together. I mean, the state has a lot of needs, and so I'm trying to keep an open mind about all the things that we can find common ground on.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think that in terms of income tax reform, I think it's still an uphill battle with the Senate and a lot of the business community. So it's going to take some work.
Yeah, I think that's an accurate assessment of where we are certainly right now. Something that I know that your party and your caucus is pushed for quite fervently the last couple of years is Medicaid expansion. And that's also a very hot and controversial issue. What do you think the prospects are for that? And is that something you're even going to take up?
Yeah, well, we push for it every year, and we push for it not in the name of Medicaid expansion, more in the name of providing health care for working people. And I continue to say this. Our largest budget in the state is not the state budget. It's the Medicaid budget. And some people will say, okay, well, that's one reason not to do it. Well, the only reason is a large budget because we provide health care to a lot of people who don't work. We provide it for children, provide it with disabilities. But the people that make this economy run, the people that make sure the state of Mississippi stays viable are working people, middle-class working people every day who do okay, take care of themselves, not looking for a handout, but they don't make enough money to pay for health care. They don't make enough money to have health care coverage. And the other part of that is, and so when those people get sick, they end up going to hospitals. We have public hospitals because of a 1968 act for public hospitals cannot turn people away. So those hospitals absorb that cost. And we could alleviate that extra cost to the state and to our hospitals and protect the idea that some of our smaller rural hospitals can stay open if we provide coverage for people to manage their health care. It's not some giveaway. It's for people who need high blood pressure medicine, diabetic medicine, people who need to, manage different illnesses that they're working through every day, and probably give somebody a chance to be a viable working person for a few more years that they're more than willing to do. That's all this is about. So, and when you have the state economists come out and say, no, this is a good idea. Not only will it not cost the state money, it will make the state money. It creates over 60,000 new jobs, over 9,000 new jobs at $60,000 a year average pay. But more importantly, you provide a plan, a program that will take care of and make sure that you have a healthy workforce. And so that's what we want to do.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Fair enough.
As the lieutenant governor says, please just stop calling it Medicaid. Call it something else. So we're going to call it whatever you want to call it, the expansion.
Yeah, he actually said the same thing you did, Representative. He's now describing it as providing health care for working people. That's basically what he said. So, and as opposed to it would just be facilitated through the Medicaid Expansion program that was passed as part of the Affordable Care Act 2010. Right. So, all right. So we'll see where that goes. What else is kind of on your list that your caucus is focused on you want to talk to us about?
Yeah, well, we have $1.8 billion in American Rescue Plan money. And again, and it didn't start with the Democrats. President Trump started with the CARES Act. He was very interested in making sure he kept the economy running. He understood that this country we talk about large corporations, but small businesses. I mean, you were once the owner of a small business that you grew and made happen, and that is the backbone of this state. People who are local people who stayed here, create jobs for other people, and make this economy run. And so it started with that, and so we have $1.8 billion in American Rescue Plan money, and what we like to see is that frontline workers, people who have never stopped working, garbage collectors, grocery store workers, nurses, doctors, policemen, firemen. These people didn't take a day off. They couldn't. We needed them. They're public servants. We'd like to see that we do something to enhance their overtime, to make sure that they get paid more, to make sure that they have an incentive to stay on the job. That's what this money is for. Death benefits for law enforcement officers. We need to make sure we take care of them. These are the people that we applaud, that we pat on the back, that we're thankful for. And we need to show them that they have our support. And this is not a Democrat or Republican issue. This is everybody in the legislature supports the idea of doing something for frontline workers, and we're going to make sure that happens. It's not just a Democratic issue. The other issue is that 40% of our cities and towns in this state are small. When I say small, 2,000 or less. That's the honest truth. And so they need help with. We always talk about Jackson's water system, but they need help with their water system, their drainage system, their roads and bridges. For all the things that people talk about that we may waste money on, fixing infrastructure is not a waste. It helps the economy. It helps communities stay viable, and so we want to make sure that happens. Again, that is something that we're finding common ground on, and we're going to continue to work on it.
Yeah, got about a minute left. When do you think you'll start, I guess, meeting and having serious discussions about how to appropriate that money?
Early next week. We'll begin to have committee meetings about that, and we'll start meeting and talking about it. The speaker and myself and some of the other leadership have already started talking about it, so we'll continue to do that.
Okay. Well, it's good to hear that you guys are working together on this. I do think this is an area where common ground can be found, and there are some parameters and constraints on how that money can be spent and invested, and it's pretty much limited to infrastructure, as you described, which is desperately needed in the state. Representative Johnson, thanks so much for joining us today, and Happy New Year to you, sir. Good to hear from you. Good to have you on the program. I'm sure I'll see you down at the Capitol here before the session's out. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. You have a great day.
You got
Happy
it.
New Year to you. All right.
Thank you. We'll be back here on midday. Stay with us.